Hi everyone, this is Stephanie and I have an altered box to share with you. This is a box that a friend of mine asked me to make for his lady friend and I was happy to oblige. He told me that her colors were purple and green and blue and red, and she wasn't like particular about which ones were her favorite or anything. She liked all shades of those, as well as he wasn't particular about which ones I used. So I went for purple as being the main color theme for this. And oh, sorry about the shaking, everyone. I'm holding the camera today, so please bear with me. I hope that you don't mind. I'll try and keep it as straight as possible. So the first thing that I did, this is an old cigar box, which I painted the edges and the inside corners and stuff, well, and outside brown. I wasn't, I didn't want to waste paint doing the whole thing because I knew I was going to paper it, which I did using Recollections Habitat paper pad. And so I did the top in this with a coordinating page on the bottom, which looks like this. I had a little boo-boo and I covered it up with that white paper doily, which I sprayed with Lindy's, where is it? Down the Rabbit Hole, which is the same thing that I used on this lace piece right there. Which, okay, before I get into that, let me start with the top. Okay, so the first thing that I did with this was I laid down this maroon piece of paper there, which I can show you fully more what it looks like because it was a scrap from what I used on the inside. And so I cut a piece big enough to, fit this part because I knew I was going to cut open this and fold it fold it away. And I don't know what this like frame thing is called, but I've seen a lot of people do it and I like it, and that's what I did. So this part was, the underside was just a plain white, and so I colored that, obviously after I cut it, or first before I cut it. And I used a variety of sprays to get this color. It was, I used Lindy's, some of the Heidi Swap, her bronze, some smooch sprays, and then, I just kept spraying and drying, with all the different colors until I got the color that I wanted, and I'm really happy with it. It has this, it's a bronze, shimmery type of color. There's sparkle in it every which way that you look, so I'm really happy with that, and it goes along with this bronze tulle that's on the inside. So after I glued it, I laid down this type of netting thing. I got this, it's pretty cool, and it matches with this ribbon, but I got this, it was a curtain valance at the 99-cent store, and most of it is this netting material. There are some flower designs in there and stuff, and so for $1, it was like 60 inches long and maybe about 24 inches wide. So, for $1, you can't beat that, and I've used it in some canvases for texture. I've used it like underneath like this, and so it's a pretty good steel. So I laid that down. This is a chipboard from my stash. I can't remember. It was probably Kane Company. And I distressed that using Vintage Photo, glued that down, and then I took this tool, this bronze tool, and I started here. I put just a little bit of glue down there, and I held it in place until it dried. And then I twirled it and then went all the way around doing that. And I got that from Gisela from Lavish Laces. She does that a lot in her projects, and I like the look of that, and it worked out nicely in here. So thank you, Gisela, for that tip. And then when I got down to here, instead of cutting it, I took the tail end and I put a little bit of glue there, and then I held it, and then I draped the rest of it because I knew I was going to tie a bow, and see, so it blends in with the white tulle bow. And then I made that little one, and then I did the same thing. I made it, and then I put a little bit of glue, and then I held my finger down in place there until it cooled down a little bit so that it would pop up, this part would pop up a little bit. And then I put some Wild Orchid Craft 10mm roses in each corner. And then for this cluster here, I have a burnt umber one and some white wild orchid craft flowers. And then for this lace, okay, what I did with this is this lace from Lavish Laces. It's a gorgeous piece of Venice lace, and it's big. It's about 7 inches. And what I did was, you can see where I cut it. I just cut this flower out, and this right here is that part in the corner, right there. And I colored that, like I said, using the Lindy's Down the Rabbit Hole. And then I use this piece right here. I colored that using the Heidi Swapp Chartreuse, and that is here in that cluster. And then this, I colored that and I used that on the inside, which you will see very shortly. So once I finished with this cluster up here, and then I laid this down here, then I placed this rose here, and this is from I Am Roses. It's one of their 2-inch white flowers, and I didn't want it white, I wanted it purple, but I didn't have a big purple flower, a flower this big, so I took one of the white ones and I sprayed it using my favorite purple, Teapot Purple. It's Lindy's. And then to grunge it up, because it is brighter than this purple here, and I didn't want it to be very bright. I wanted it to be very vintage. So I grunged it up a little bit using my Tim Holtz Distress Paint in Walnut Stain, and I just brushed it on all those places to get that effect right there, which I really like. And then I have, let's see, right here I have a cherry blossom, and I have a trellis rose in cream. This is a tea rose, which I sprayed using Down the Rabbit Hole. This one and this one I both sprayed using that Down the Rabbit Hole. This is a Michael's flower, and these little hip buds are from Saw. And let's see, this is a burnt umber one. I put a little pearl there. This is a bead landing metal piece. They're like their little hinges. And this rose right there is a Wild Orchid Craft. It's part of a 40mm trellis flower, which I like the color, but I didn't. That was the only size that I had in this color. So of course I didn't need it that big. So what I did was, let me get the flower so that you can see what it looks like. So see how big it is, you know, and I had already used this one. I already laid that one down first. So, so what I did was I took it apart in 3 different layers. The top one, and then this one I used separately, and then these 2 I used inside. So this is the top piece, and then after I got my cluster down, and then, so you see how I just twirled all the green stems. I don't like to snip them off. I love to twirl them up and use them everywhere. I rarely do snip them off. If I do, it's because I've already used too many. I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't use that. So, so after I got all of these down, I dry brushed some shimmers on all of them just to, you know, kind of blend them all in with the same color and keep it all together. So I use the shimmers, which is Sugar Plum. I just placed my first order with them, and I got, you know, a couple of dazzlers and textures and some paints. So I'm playing with them, and I really like them. This is a really pretty color that worked well with this. So after that, well, actually not after, I'm sorry. I forgot to say that I did line this, before I did the clusters and everything, I lined the whole box in this trim, which I got at Joann's in their dollar bin. And okay, so then for this little cluster right here, I laid some cheesecloth down. Here is the middle piece of that same flower. And then this metal flower is from Lily at Shopalicious. And this is a white Michaels rosette that I just colored in the Heidi Swap spray, and then a white halfback pearl in there. And then this metal corner is from Lily as well. And then for around the box, I lined the whole thing in this lace, which was white. It's from, you know, Joann's in their bins too. And I sprayed it using, I used the Teapot Purple, of course, and then also to get it to be a little bit more duskier, I also sprayed it with the Moonshadow Mist in Peg Leg Pete Purple. So, and then I put some halfback pearls all the way around as well. So that's the outside, and then for the inside, my friend had this picture that he wanted me to put on the inside. That's the only thing that he had. He's like, I want you to put this in her box. I was like, ooh, okay, sexy, you know. So, so he gave me that, and I didn't do anything to the picture. I just podged it on there. I backed it with that same piece of paper that I said was, you know, on the front here, underneath. That's what I used on the inside. So I have it underneath there and on the sides. And this is more paper from that Habitat pad. I use that here, here, and then on the front side here. And okay, so for this part, okay, what I did was, this is the flower piece from that lace. And the coloring I wasn't quite happy with at first. What I did, I sprayed it with the Down the Rabbit Hole, and on the inside I was like, oh, you know, I really want it to be more like of a burgundy-ish purple. And then I sprayed it with some, oh gosh, everything. Like, I wasn't happy with it, and so I kept playing with it I used some distress paint on here, I used some more sprays, and I think I used like some walnuts. I used walnut stain and vintage photo on there with the distress paint, and I used some Moonshadow Mist and some other various sprays just until I was happy with it, because at first I was like, oh, I think I had gone too far, and I was like, nope, I have to fix it. So I can't even tell you what I did to it or in what process order, but that's how that happened. And then and then I have this Wild Orchid Craft, and then this Tim Holtz Journey tag with a piece of brown tulle tied in a bow. And then this is just a strand, you know, the little pearls, or, you know, just a regular pearl, and that I glued here. I used that for my chain, and then I glued it here. And then this cluster is made from the bottom piece of that flower. And the way that I did this was I just put some cheesecloth behind and underneath, and then I put the flower down. I made like a little nest of cheesecloth in the middle, and then I put that halfback pearl in there, and then I used some more of the Michaels rosettes around to cover up where I glued the pearls. And yep, so I think that's pretty much it. That's everything that I did to the box. I hope that she enjoys it, and I hope that he gets a lot of good bonus brownie points for giving it to her. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Thanks, bye.